From Cakeland, this is Emmy award-winning Cake News.
Kansas governor's race heats up with outside money bringing attack ads to the Sunflower State. And how does a hurricane in paradise affect a former Kansan?
Stocking up on water, the essentials, diapers, canned foods, making sure that we're staying inside today.
Good evening, everyone. As Tropical Storm Iselle makes landfall, Hawaii also bracing for Hurricane Julio.
KAKE's Monica Castro spoke with a former Wichitan now living in Hawaii and how she's prepared for the storm. This is tonight's big story.
Christina Ranjay lives in Honolulu and says her experience with Kansas tornadoes has prepared her for this upcoming storm. This is a look outside of Christina Ranjay's home this afternoon.
Lots of wind. Oh, now the rain starts back up. It's been raining. The winds are definitely stronger than normal, especially for our part of the island. We live closer to Pearl Harbor.
Having lived in Kansas for 19 years, Christina says she's learned how to keep calm during storms.
People are staying off the streets and staying home. It's not blowing around everywhere, so it's been all right.
While it's rare for hurricanes to hit Hawaii, let alone two back-to-back, she says people have remained calm.
Everyone here seems pretty cool, calm, and collected. There haven't been any problems that I've seen, but the shelves at the stores are definitely bare. Everybody was stocking up at the same time, lots of lines.
While their home isn't boarded up, she's bought plenty of food, water, and other supplies for her children, just in case disaster strikes.
The oldest one is definitely intrigued by the changing weather, but just keep reminding them we're going to stay inside. They've helped me to prepare, filling up the bathtubs with water and stocking up on our supplies.
Well, the good news for those in Hawaii, Hurricane Julio has been downgraded to a Category 2 storm and is predicted to miss the Hawaiian Islands by at least 200 miles. So that's good news for them.
That is good news. A double punch would not be fun at all.
Not at all.
Thanks a lot, Monica.
Always tracking, always alerting, always protecting. Cake First Alert.
You know, here's what's left of it. You don't even have a central dense overcast over what's left of the tropical storm now. Winds of 40 miles per hour. There's the Big Island. And across the Big Island, it was a tropical storm. Already been downgraded from hurricane, and the high mountains really shredded this. There you can see Oahu, and there's Molokai, and there's Maui there. Now, the other hurricane that we're continuing to track, again, Category 2 for Julio. Winds about 100 miles per hour. But let's go back over the past 12 hours. You'll see how quickly it's going to get just sheared out. There's not much to it, but there is still some gusty winds, and the track of this one should take it north of the islands by several hundred miles. All right, that's the threat way out in the Pacific. As we look across the border up into Nebraska, there is a severe thunderstorm watch still in effect. Couple of warnings. Will that make its way into Cakeland? Let's take you live over to Cake's First Alert Doppler HD. Thunderstorms in Colorado earlier weakening before they crossed the border. Just some showers now from Goodland over towards Atwood. But yeah, look up to the north here. This line of thunderstorms, we'll put it in motion for you, is continuing to track to the south between about 25 and 30 miles per hour. And it's going to be heading down to the southeast. So once we get probably to about 12:31 in the morning, that's going to start to enter parts of north central and northeast Kansas. This little line of showers here, I don't think it's going to spark up and become severe, and that will continue to track on down to the south. Now, is this going to hold together all the way till it gets to Wichita towards daybreak? It might. It's not the biggest risk in the world we've seen, but you might have a shower towards daybreak or a thunderstorm, but I'm not worried about a severe threat. 79 degrees outside now, 82 Salina, 73 in Dodge, 74 in Garden City. And if anything, waking up the cloud cover, then that's going to thin out by 8 o'clock, 75 degrees, winds out of the east-southeast 5 to 10. Now, even though we might not see the thunderstorms in Wichita, parts of north central, northeast Kansas might see some severe weather overnight tonight. We're tracking that threat ahead.
All right, Jake. In tonight's Crime Tracker, Newton police are investigating an act of violence against two young girls that occurred about 2 weeks ago. Now, it all happened while a 14-year-old and her 12-year-old friend were swimming in a creek. KAKE's David Marcus spoke with one of the girls' mother who shared details of the crime. David.
Well, Larry, to hear it described, it sounds like an act of road rage by the water. Newton police are on the lookout for a couple in their 30s or 40s who lashed out at two young girls while they were swimming. This all happened Sunday, July 27th in Sand Creek in Newton. Now that's between the 1500 block of North Main and a nearby railroad bridge. Janelle Tillman says her daughter, seen up close in this picture, and her friend right behind her were having a little fun and perhaps being a little loud, yes, in the creek. A couple in their 30s or 40s who were fishing nearby and said to be drinking became very angry, started shouting at the girls and calling them names, and that is when things quickly escalated out of control and the older couple decided to go on the offensive.
They told them that they were both fat and ugly. They told them to kill themselves. The couple decided to go up and get a blowgun and some over 3-inch darts. They started shooting them, blowing them at the kids. One hit my daughter in the heel, and it went in 1.5 inches.
Pretty scary stuff. Chanel Tillman's daughter was treated for that dart injury. She's doing just fine right now, but both kids, as you might understand, still pretty shaken up. Newton police are looking for a white male in his 30s or 40s with blonde hair and a receding hairline, a white female in her 30s or 40s with burgundy hair. We will have much more on this story coming up Saturday throughout our newscast here on KAKE News.
Thanks, David. Well, the general election, it's still 3 months away, but political ads, they are already starting up again.
The first one to hit the airwaves, an ad that links Kansas gubernatorial candidate Paul Davis to President Barack Obama. KAKE's Madeline Anderson breaks down what's in the ad and who's behind it in this KAKE News Fact Check.
When few supported Barack Obama, there was a liberal Lawrence legislator who believed.
If you've turned on your TV in the past few days, it's been hard to miss this latest political attack ad. The 30-second spot is paid for by the Republican Governors Association, an organization that's goal is to help GOP gubernatorial candidates get elected to office.
Davis was an Obama delegate at the Democrat National Convention.
This one, featuring Paul Davis, is the most recent of several ads RGA has put out in the last week, targeting Democrat challengers in states where races are expected to be close, including in Kansas. Davis, currently the Kansas House Minority Leader, is running against incumbent Governor Sam Brownback in November. Although the ad never mentions Brownback, it echoes statements he's made criticizing Davis' support of the Obama administration's policies.
After the failed stimulus, massive bailouts, record debt, a stalled economy, and the Obamacare disaster, Paul Davis was right back at the Democrat convention with Obama as Obama's delegate.
The ad's timing is also key. It started airing the day after the primary election. Brownback won the Republican nomination, but by a smaller margin than most predicted. Little-known Jennifer Wynn received 37% of the vote against Brownback. Some political experts say that's a sign Brownback's road to a second term could be more difficult than expected.
Paul Davis, don't delegate Kansas to an Obama liberal.
Now, in response to the ad, the Davis campaign said, quote, "It's clear Sam Brownback is in trouble and the Republican Governors Association knows it." On the same day, a second credit agency downgraded the Kansas bond rating, and the day after a weak primary performance, Sam Brownback and his big money allies again try to distract from his dismal record and blame others for his failed experiment. For your response, just head to KAKE.com and click on this story. RGA is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for the ad to air in 4 weeks in Wichita and other cities across the state.
All right, thanks a lot, Madeline. New tonight at 10, investigators trying to figure out what caused an evening house fire in northeast Wichita. Crews called to a home near 15th and Hillside shortly after 6 o'clock. Smoke and flames could be seen coming from the bedroom area, but the home was vacant. Fire caused about $30,000 in damage. In an effort to prevent more traffic deaths, Wichita police have beefed up efforts in issuing tickets. So after the city saw the highest number of fatalities in 2013, police implemented more special assignments. Officers are now targeting different areas of Wichita looking for speeders. Speaking exclusively to KAKE News, Chief Norman Williams says it's working.
People say, well, you guys are running all of these speed traps and you're trying to catch somebody. No, we're trying to prevent accidents that impact people's lives.
Chief Williams says while there have been 20 fatalities so far this year, at the same time last year there were 21. But the number of fatal crashes have decreased by 4. Officers have issued 4,000 more tickets so far this year than they did last year.
Well, Kansas is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to review a decision that overturned the death sentences for Jonathan and Reginald Carr. Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt says he is not convinced that the Kansas court's application of the constitutional requirements is correct. So he is requesting the review of 3 cases by the U.S. Supreme Court. A decision could come later this year.
Now to our continuing coverage on the crisis in Iraq. Within hours of President Obama authorizing force in Iraq, 3 strikes against ISIS targets. Forces dropped 8 bombs, used drones to shoot Hellfire missiles on ISIS units. The White House said these airstrikes are necessary to stop the ISIS advantage on Erbil and keep Americans safe.
I think the president was determined to use military action to protect American personnel who are in harm's way in Iraq.
The second part of the U.S. mission is humanitarian. Yesterday, aid was dropped out of cargo planes to save lives high on a mountaintop. Thousands have been trapped there for days. Digging deeper now, just to give you an idea of the American presence in Iraq, in Erbil, there are several hundred employees at a U.S. consulate. 35 U.S. military troops at the Joint Operations Center collecting and analyzing intelligence and advising the Iraqi forces in Baghdad. There are about 5,000 employees at the U.S. Embassy and nearly 800 troops.
We have new details tonight on the death of James Brady. Now, Washington, D.C. police say the former White House press secretary's death has now been ruled a homicide. The Virginia Medical Examiner's Office shared the results of an autopsy. It revealed that a gunshot wound from the 1981 Reagan assassination attempt and its health consequences was the cause of his death. Brady was shot in the head.
We first told you about this next story on KAKE News at 4, but tonight we have pictures. In Hutchinson, a terminally ill man, given only months to live, escorts his daughter down the aisle at her wedding. Jeff Petty suffers from renal cell carcinoma. It's too advanced for chemotherapy, and his doctors gave him between 2 and 3 months to live. Family and friends planned the wedding in 2 weeks. The wedding had been set for next July, but was pushed up so that Petty, her dad, could be there. Our best to that family.
Absolutely.
Congratulations
Yeah.
to the new married couple, and our best to the whole family.
You bet.